So base for the back is ready now, and we have marked it. Now we can start making the sides. So I have made these marks with markers. We have marked bottom 16 stitches for bottom, and it means that we need to cast on 16 stitches as well. Now I'll show you here. This is complete back, and you see that this side is going to be made with decreases as well. It will be narrowing as it goes up. I'll show this all step by step. The other one you will be able to work on your own. Pay attention that they are in different colors because they match the color of the last stripe. Pay attention to this because I think that it gives it a special stylish look. But again, it's up to you. You can as well make contrastive sides. So now we will start making these sides, and then we will attach a plastic button. So let's start by casting on 16 chains. I'll start with a pink one because it will be easier to show you on pink color. It's easier to see it. But you can start with any one, either blue or pink. So as always, we create the 0 loop, short end on top of the long one, insert the hook from below and grab the working thread. I am using 4mm crocheting hook. So now we need to cast on 16. We don't count this one, which we have just made. These are going to be 16 stitches that match the 16 stitches we have marked on the base for the bottom. 16 plus 1 for the lifting chain. So 2. Yeah, remember that these stitches you don't make too tight. Try to make them looser. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's lifting chain. And again, we turn to the back half loops, skip the first one, which we have already used here, and insert the hook in the second, grab the working thread, and make a single crochet. Now the next one, make a single crochet. Likewise, go on working with single crochets. Just now we will be working not vertical as we did for the base, but horizontally as we usually do. So go on making 16 single crochets and go on working till the end. Check that you have made 16 single crochets. Have almost reached the end, last 2 stitches. Last back half loop here, don't forget about it, just skip it. And a lifting chain. Turn your work. So first row is ready. Now we start making the second. So I'll show you everything step by step. I think that you already understand how we work back and forth. So we need to make 15 rows, 16 stitches in each. And then we will start making decreases. I will tell you those rows with decreases, work them together with you. So go on working till the end of 15th row on your own, and then we will continue working together. So we have made 15 rows, 16 stitches in each. Let's count the rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Lifting chain. And in the 16th row, we'll make 2 decreases, one at the beginning and one at the end, according to the same principle we did for the base of the bag. So first make 1 stitch and then make a decrease. 1, and go on working till the end of this row. At the end of the row, we will make 1 more decrease. Go on working tightly here, because for the sides we need rather middle or tight gauge. So keep the gauge the same as you did for the back. And we have reached last 3 stitches. So the second and the third we work as a decrease. And the last one we work just as a stitch. 16 rows ready. Make a lifting chain. So now we work 17th and 18th, 19th, 20th and 21st rows without any decreases. Just go on working 14 single crochets in each row. Go on working on your own, and then we will meet. Those rows where we have decreases I show you because, yeah, just want to show everything step by step, but you can as well go on working on your own if you already understand how to make decreases. If you're a beginner, just follow me on the video. And decreases will be 16, 22, 28 and 34th row. 2 decreases in 1 row. So I have worked 21 rows and we make 2 decreases at the 22nd row. First stitch, then make a decrease, and then go on working almost till the end to make a decrease at the end of the row as well. Second and third goes for decrease. And the last one, just a single crochet. So here we already have 12 stitches in a row. Make a lifting chain, turn our work, and again we work 5 rows for 12 stitches in each without any decreases till 27th row. And then we'll meet again. So I have worked 27 rows. At the 28th row, likewise we do an increase at the beginning and at the end of the row. First stitch, then a decrease, 2 stitches together, and then we will get 10 stitches in a row in this and next rows. last 3, second and the third together is a decrease, last one, as always, single crochet. And the last decrease will be at the 34th row. So till 34th row we work without decreases, 10 stitches in each row, and at the 34th row we'll make last 2 decreases. 33 ready, and 34 is the last row where we make decreases. So make the first stitch, then second and third as a decrease, and then go working till the end. At the end, make one more decrease, and the last decrease here, and the last single crochet. That's it. So now we have 8 stitches in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, make a lifting chain, turn our work, and now we work till 42nd row without any decreases. So 8 rows, 8 stitches in a row till 42nd row. That will be 40, 41, 42. 8 rows. 8 rows, 8 stitches in each. Go on working on your own, and then we will meet. And then you will make one more piece like this. And we finished the 42nd row. Let's count. By the way, now I will show you how to count pairs. It's much quicker and you can do it easily. So first and second, between them you see these half loops: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42. Now we can cut it. And hide and sew free ends, as I have shown you when we were making the base of the bag. So I prefer to hide free ends properly on one side. You can choose any side to be your right side and wrong side. I'll make right side the one where the braid looks towards us. I think it looks nicer here. And hide the free ends. I prefer first to push it under this half loop. Pull it, do not tighten it too much, so that here you don't have to tighten it stitch. Then you hide it slightly deeper and to the side. So those things shouldn't be sewn because we leave this for sewing it to the base. You don't want to make it thicker. So you do this on your own, as we have done it with the base of the bag, and you make the second one just likewise. So you need 2 pieces like this. You can come back with this masterclass, and we will start making the bottom. We will attach plastic canvas to it, and then we'll start sewing the sides. So now the sides are ready. I have 2 in different colors, as you see. Let's measure the width. It's 11 centimeters, and height is about 27, and here approximately the same, 27. Yeah, 27 and 3 millimeters. Also pay attention that I have plastic canvas which I'm going to use in size 30 to 10 centimeters, although here I have 32 centimeters and here I have 12 centimeters. I have made it on purpose. I'm using a smaller piece of plastic canvas, a little bit smaller, because it will be within these borders. I don't want it to be overlapping. I don't want it to be twisted. I want it to look neat, and it means that I have to leave a centimeter on each side. So cut a piece of plastic canvas. If your bag is wider, for example, 34 centimeters, you can as well take 32 centimeters. So just make a piece of plastic canvas 1 centimeter less than it is on the bag. So you might have different size. And you now cut a piece of canvas. If you have a bigger bag, then according to it, you make a bigger piece of plastic canvas, of course. So if you have the same size as I, usually we can buy plastic canvas in a DIY shop with such big sheets of canvas. You can buy a smaller piece, of course, and just then cut out of it. So I have a big one. I have already cut here. So now let's measure 10 centimeters here. Here I mark 10 centimeters, but be careful, here you have to mark where you will cut, slightly to the left. It means that here I'm going to cut, I leave a whole piece, that is 10 centimeters, and then I will cut the next one, yeah, because I want to leave a full square. And here we have to make it 30 plus 1 square where we're going to cut. So I mark 30 and then I add one more for cutting edge. So somewhere here in between. So that you do not cut and make it less. Yeah, you add one more, which you are going to cut, so that you don't get a smaller piece than you was going to cut. Then all these little stumps will be able to cut, of course. And like this, I cut following this line. Now you see on all the sides I have such little stumps, and I prefer to cut them like this to make the edge even. And then I will show you, if you like, you can polish them as well. Just take a nail file and polish it. So now those sharp ends and corners where we made a cut, I recommend you to file it. You don't have to do this, but if you like, you can. If, for example, they will be next to your knitted base, maybe they will be piercing so that they will not be able to pierce it through, we file them a little bit. So work with each corner and each side. So, and our plastic canvas will be ready. And so you just polish it like this. So now we place the canvas onto the wrong side of the bag. Here where we have marked it for the bottom, I have marked where the right and wrong side so that I don't mix them. Now you need to find the center so that you can place it right, like this. And so here between the markers, place it so that it's following the same line. So I fix it on one end. I take some needle with a thread in matching or a neutral color, pierce this knitted base like this, fix it with a loop first, and then don't pierce it all through. Just you can sew it so that you don't pierce it through completely. You can sew it only on the corners and it will stay put. It will be okay. So it's as you like. You can sew either only the corners, or like I'm going to sew it, you can sew it all over the perimeter. And just make sure that it stays put in place. Make sure that you sew it exactly where you placed it. So here, that's very important to place it right. You can make stitch in every stitch or in every other, or even every 2 stitches. Like this, with ordinary stitches. This all is going to be hidden under the lining. So bear in mind it won't be visible. And so by and by, go on working like this along the perimeter. I think it's quite clear. Here you see the stitches. And so I make a step, and the next, and the next. Like this. And so like this, go on working. Till you have worked all the perimeter or only the corners, as you have chosen. And then we will start sewing the sides. So now let's start sewing the sides for the back. I'm going to show you here with the pink because it's easier to see it. And the other one you'll sew according to the same principle. So how are we going to sew? We need several meters of the cord for it. One end we will melt. And the other one I recommend to sew. Because if you pierce it through the opening with the one end that was a little bit melted, it will not be easy, so I recommend not to do this. So here you see such loops, and now we need to join them all together somehow to make several stitches. Stop it from fraying. When you stop this from fraying, you can now work with it and not be afraid that it will start fraying. And now this free end, which we have just sewn, we insert into the darning needle. And now let's take our base, pink base and pink side. Now first, perhaps I will show you like this. Zoom out. I'll first show you in general and then I'll make a zoom in. So it's going to be like this, here where the markers are, and like this it's going to be joined with the base. So we started from here, from right to left, and we join the right sides like this. Right side facing us, wrong sides, and we join it with the seam that I'll show you. Then I'll make a zoom in. Now I just want to show you the gist. So you have to insert the needle under the first braid. Here you see such vertical ones under the first braid of your base here, so that you pierce it through. You leave this free end and you insert the needle under upper braid on the side, so you kind of match them. Just be careful, don't pierce the cord through, because it's really easy to do this. Pierce it through. Leave a free end here. Just we don't need a long one, a little bit will do. Like this. So you have matched first two stitches, and we return, pay attention, into the opening where we have started, right into the opening where we have started. Here, be careful. This cord tries to get out of there. So just tighten if need be. Hide this free end. Yeah. So first stitch. Now we start sewing the side. I'll make a zoom in so that you can see everything. I have made maximum zoom in for you so that you can see it all. And here is our first stitch. Now we will go one step down, the next half loop on one side and the next half loop on the other side. Right into the opening between two rows of this side. That is the first one. So here it's really easy to see it. If you are experienced crocheter, then you'll be able to see it at once. If you're a beginner, just pay a little bit more attention and you'll see. These openings, they will be one opposite the other, and you can see them clearly. Between some of the rows, they'll be easy to see, some others maybe slightly more difficult. It's the peculiarity of this knitted base of our pattern. But nevertheless, we come back like this through the wrong side, and we insert our darning needle into the opening where we have started. So we kind of come back. We have pierced and now we return it. So again, insert, then the next one opposite it here, and now attentively we return it here, just like this, from below, and from below like this. So using this method, you will be able to create such a straight angle. So it will look really nice when it's sewn. And then we go one level below, next step, here as well. Tighten it and return the needle back. So that's all. That's the main principle of sewing sides to the base. And now we just go on moving like this. So we go one step down and repeat the same stitches. And come back. And come back. You see? So we go on working till the corner down. Then I will show you how we work it on the corner. Tighten it here so that it has the same gauge. So like this we go on working and get such a nice seam. Yeah, you see, with such half loops on one side. So go on working like this till the corner, and then we will meet again. So I have reached the corner almost. Now I'll show you how we go it through the corner, and just be careful, don't skip the rows, because you want to match the rows. If you have skipped some rows, then you will be in a difficulty at the end of the row. So you can count how many of the rows you have, how many stitches you have on one side. So I have, I see I have 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. Pay attention that 4th one is already one of the bottom and at the same time a stitch of the side. So here we'll be working where the markers are. But that's going ahead a little bit, so I'll show you everything step by step. Here we have finished the same. And now we reached the corner where we have a transition to the bottom. So we work the same. We insert the needle under this loop where the marker is, and here we insert it under the half loops of the bottom. So we'll work the bottom into these half loops. Take away the marker and return back. And so go on working till the next marker. So turn it. And so now insert the needle likewise under the last half loop here. So this one we work 2 times. Tighten it here and come back. And now we turn our work. That's our bottom and that's the side. And we insert the needle into each half loop of the bottom and each half loop on the side. And so we go on working the same stitches according to the same principle and return back where we have started. And so continue working. Insert the needle and push it through. And go on working like this till the next markers, and then when you reach the markers, I'll show you again what we do next. Now, when you have reached the markers, here it is the same as on the corner. Under this one, we work 2 times. So I'll show you step by step, of course, once, and then one before last, and the last. First here and under the other half loop. Take off the marker and return the needle. Insert the needle into the next where the marker is, and into the same half loop we insert the needle again and come back. So now the bottom is sewn onto the base, and we now can sew the last edge. Here, as you understand, everything is the same. We insert the needle under one of the braids, then we find the first opening between first and the second row. Here is the first and the second. So the first opening will be here, like this. And come back. Then again, likewise, insert the needle from this side under the second. And here pierce it through into the next one. and go on moving till next edge. On top we will fix it together and finish this seam. We will start sewing the second side together, and then you'll be working on your own. Like this. So one side is ready, and let's finish together. Pay attention that if you see that you do not have the same number of stitches on one and other side, it means that you have skipped. And even now, when I have a lot of experience, it sometimes happens that I skip, and now you see I have skipped 4 stitches. In 4 places I have skipped, so I had such jog. That's why I warn you, be very careful and pay attention that you haven't skipped any stitches. So now we first pierce it here vertically, and then we'll come back here and make a horizontal stitch to cover this seam. It's okay if you have one stitch more or less on one on the other side, but if it is more than one, then you have to undo it and check where you have made a mistake and where you have skipped a stitch, for example. So here, pierce it into this one and return it back. That's all. You can cut the thread or just pull it through if you have such a short end left as I do. And likewise, we start sewing the other side. So I have prepared the thread, I have melted one end and I have sewn and fixed the other, as I have shown you with the first one. So we need to fold the back like this, and on this side we put this side, right side, facing us like this, and we'll start from the back side, likewise as we did with the first side. Now you can insert the needle, by the way, under the first horizontal one or first vertical one. Here it's the same. See here, vertical, either vertical or horizontal here. Doesn't matter. And we pierce it here through the base and through the side. Leave a small free end, which one was melted. And we return the needle, right? And then again come back here. So now these stitches go all the same as we were working with the first side. Vertical ones on the base and horizontal ones on the side. And so we go down and then find the next opening between 2 rows. And so here the process is all the same to the one that you have already seen, so you can skip it if you understand already what you have to do. You can skip this part of the video. I just want to show it just in case for those of you who need it. And I make a stitch, and then you will continue on your own. So go on working likewise, like you worked with the other side. So after you have sewn, we will start making the handle. These free ends we will then hide. That's it. Go on working like this. And then we will meet when we make the handle. The second side is sewn as well. Here I have finished. So all the free ends we have to hide inside. Here you can make one more additional loop, like this. And then go inside the bag. You take a smaller crocheting hook and hide the free end. And sew the free ends just as we did. This I'm not going to stop here. So you see that here we hide all the free ends and then start making the handle. So hide and sew all the free ends. That's how it looks. Have a look how the bottom shapes it. So hide all the free ends and then we'll proceed to making the handle. And then before we start making the handle, let's have a look. So we will have to make the handle with the same pattern, absolutely all the same pattern with increases. So that we get narrowing pieces, we have to make increases, decreases to insert it into the holder, to insert this handle. So I'll show you how we make increases. Then when we have finished increases, you will just go on working on your own, and then I'll show you how to make decreases. So actually everything I wanted to say. You can make the length of the handle different. As you see here, the length of the handle is 58 centimeters. That's together with these holders. Holders are about 5 centimeters, so 48 centimeters in total. It will be a little bit more because when you have sewn it, it will stretch a bit. So about 48 centimeters is the length. You can make it more or less. It's up to you. And if you use the same principle as I do, then the length will be exactly enough for such a handle. So, and I'm going to use such a holder of matted gold. Now let's start first rows. I'll show you how to check because you'll be able to change these numbers. You'll be able to make it smaller or bigger depending on your gauge and depending what you want to get as a result. So start with a preparative stitch as always. Here I recommend you not to work too tight because it should be soft. The looser you work, the softer it will be. And then you cast on 6 chains and 1 lifting chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1 lifting chain, 7. Then we go to the next row, the second row. By the way, it's better to work into upper half loops of each braid. So you see a braid and you insert the hook under the first one, so you don't count the 0 one. Under the first one, make 2 loops and make a stitch. And the other one likewise. Second, find the second braid and grab working thread, work a stitch. And again, upper half loop. And again. And we have 2 left. 1, 2. Don't count the knot here. And last one. So you'll get 6 stitches, right? We count these horizontal loops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The one on the hook we do not count, and the lifting chain we don't count. In the second row, we do the same number of stitches. That is under both half loops as we usually do. So here we work as we always do. Last stitch is a little bit diagonal, so don't lose it. Make sure you don't skip it. Here it is, but we also work it and don't skip it. Here you can make a bigger loop to make it the same level. So actually, this free end we will insert into the holder and then sew it. So don't be afraid if you cannot insert it now. It will be, we'll have to push it, but we'll be able to insert it. We'll use a flat screwdriver to push it inside and it will be okay. It will stay put there. So if you're worried that you will not be able to insert into the holder, you can make 5 stitches instead of 6 if you need to make it smaller. Now lifting chain, and we have to make increases to make the handle wider because we're going to fold it double and then sew it. So in the third row we have 2 increases. At the beginning and the end of the row, as always, we work the first stitch, and then in the second we make an increase. 2 single crochets into 1, everything like we did before, all the same. And then we go on working the last 2 stitches, just 1 single crochet everywhere, and then again make an increase into the one before last. And into the last one we make just a single crochet. An ordinary single crochet. Make a lifting chain. Now the fourth row, we don't make any increases, we work just single crochets without any increases or decreases. And we start the 5th row. In the 5th row, we make 2 increases likewise at the beginning and at the end. First make 1 stitch, then make an increase. Go on working till the end of the row. Here I keep a rather loose gauge so that the handle is softer, not too tight. and then one more increase into the one before the last, and one single crochet, a lifting chain. In the 6th row we go on working without any increases, just 10 single crochets. Yeah, we've made increases, so now we already have 10. A lifting chain, turn our work. In the 7th row we make 2 increases, and these are the last increases that we have made. We'll just have 12 single crochets, and we'll go on working with them till the end. Till the other end, I mean. So we make an increase at the beginning, then we go on working like this, and as always, and in one before the last we make one more increase. Here it is, one more increase, and a single crochet, like this, a lifting chain. Turn our work. In the 8th row we'll make just 12 single crochets. So we have worked 8 rows, and at the end of the 8th row we have 12 stitches. So our holder is going to be folded like this. You see it's narrower here and wider here, and then here it will continue the same width. So the more loose your stitches are, the softer this thing will be. So we go on working till the 62nd row. So we have 54 rows more, so make a lifting chain, and in each row we continue working 12 single crochets. In the 62nd row I will show you how to make decreases. We will make decreases according to the same principle, but I'll show you everything step by step, of course. And then insert our metal rings or whatever you are using. So go on working till we start making decreases. So I have made 62 rows almost. Now I make a lifting chain, turn my work, and now I'll be making decreases. Decreases we'll be making as well as increases at the beginning and at the end of the row. So in the first stitch we make a single crochet, then second and the third we work together, and it is our decrease. First decrease, go on working till the end of the row like single crochets as always, and then here, by the way, you see how much material I have. And stop 3 stitches before the end to make the next decrease. So second and third we work together, and that's our second decrease in the 63rd row. So make 1 stitch. Now we already have 10 stitches. In next one, in 64th row, we'll make just 10 single crochets without any increases or decreases. And we start 65th row, make a lifting chain, turn our work, and again make 2 decreases. So in first we work a first single crochet, then second and third we make a decrease by working them together, and then at the end likewise as in 63rd row we make 1 more decrease at the end. So I stopped 3 stitches before the end. Second and third will work together as a decrease, and then 1 single crochet. lifting chain, 66 row, go on working without decreases. So that now we have 8 stitches left. And the last row of decreases, that's 67th row. We make 2 more decreases, all the same, one at the beginning, one at the end of the row. And we'll get the number of stitches with which we have started, that is 6 stitches. Lifting chain, and then 68th row, 6 stitches. Like this. That's how this handle will be sewn. You can make one more row if you like, also make 6 stitches in it, so that you can fit it better into the holder, but that's as you like it. Let's have a look. Maybe I'll do it the same. Actually, I think I won't. I'll leave it as it is. So at this stage, I'll measure this piece. So we have 68 rows. 68 rows, which have a length of 48 centimeters, approximately. Yeah, like the blue one, by the way, same length. So what do we do now? Here we don't make any lifting chains anymore. No, but we need to make this free end longer, about 2 meters, maybe 1.5 meters will do. And we will then use it for sewing it together, sewing this handle together. So we leave a long end, cut it, cut all the excess, I recommend you to sew the free end because we're going to work it actively and don't want it to fray. So I'll sew it to stop it from fraying, like this. Like this. So the main thing here is that it will not fray, and then you'll need some needle and thread. And the cord which you have prepared, I mean, darning needle and a cord, and to sew the handle. To sew the handle, we'll start like this. We will join it inside like this, 2 ends, and then we will insert the darning needle in certain openings on the handle. So now you see that the thread comes from the upper braid, and so we insert it into the appropriate opening on the edge here. But we'll pierce it one level below, so pay attention. We pierce it below. So here we have an opening between two rows. See? Between two rows. And now we need to insert the needle into the appropriate opening on the other side. So this opening will also be between the first and the second rows. So first is here and the second, and between them here you don't count these upper braids. We just started with a braid. So we insert the needle here and we pierce it below, one level below. Like this. And then we insert the needle into the next opening here and here, one level below. Like this. So we'll get such horizontal stitches. And again, insert the needle into this opening on this side and one level below. So you try not to skip. Try not to skip and follow this principle. It will be really easy for you to work. So here, insert, then one level below, and insert it again. Insert and one level below, and that's it. You can also check if you are here. If you are here where you have these half loops, you have to insert the needle on this side where you have this half loop. And there you go one step below. Like this. And again, here you insert the needle into the opening. And here, likewise. Go one level below. Here you see these half loops between the rows. So you find this row with half loops and go one step down. Here, be careful, don't skip openings. That's it, and so you go on working till the end. Then I'll show you and we'll go through it together. Like this, you will be able to create the handle. And then we'll finish together and I show you how to insert the holders. So I have several stitches left. Let's make them together. And now under the braid, here, then under this one, here it is, and then you can come back again. So now I recommend you not to sew the free end, but first insert the holders, then have a look, and if everything is okay, then you can sew them. Or you can skip it and do following. Take lightener and melt the free ends because they're not going to be visible. I'll show you this option actually. So here, this first knot you can undo if you were making the first stitch exactly as I did. Then you can undo it now, and it will be easier to insert it into the holder. Not to make it thicker here in this place where you will be inserting into the holder. You don't want it to be thick. So what do we do next? We can melt this and cut it. Let's start with this one. Just cut it and melt it, and then press it. Maybe slightly press it to the base, and it will stick there. The other one likewise. Now I have to repeat it, yeah, like this. So now you see it is put and it will stay there, and that's all. Problem with the free ends is solved. This is going to be hidden anyway, so now we have a handle. We'll take these accessories, our tools, and I'll show you one, and then you can install both. So we have such long nails. So we need to insert a piece of a handle here into the holder. I'm going to do this with the help of a flat screwdriver to help, like this. Push it into the holder. Like this. So you see I push it inside on all the sides. To check whether it is okay, whether it is fixed, we can have a look at these openings, which were made for the screws, yeah? If you see that you see through the opening the fabric, then it is inside okay. Try to push it further so that you fix it properly. It will stay put, won't come off. And so like this, I have almost inserted it. Yeah, now it's okay. And then you take this. Yeah, by the way, check that you have inserted more or less at the same level. And then we'll take these nails and screw them into and install them in place. Like this. Just screw it. It's not very difficult actually, just have to be patient, but it's not difficult. It's not difficult, you can easily do this. And likewise here. Like this. I think that will do. It will stay put, so one end is ready. And then insert the other one, the same. So the handle is ready. So now I take the base. I have already sewn the free ends there, so now we will be making the loops. So the loops we'll make like this so that we can sew them. I'll now show you how I have already made these loops on the other bag. Here they are. Here I have made them in 3 colors. And so how I have combined the colors here where the blue is, I've made more blue and just a little bit of beige color, and there where beige is, I made more beige and just a little bit of blue. According to the same principle, I'm going to make loops for these. It will be sage plus 2 pinks, that will be 2 pinks plus a little bit of sage. Like this I will combine. So now we'll be making loops, and the first combination is going to be sage, mint, and pink. So let's start with sage, and here where we have sage and mint, leave a free end of that color, about 30 centimeters of sage, for example, and then go on working the loop. So I start as always with this loop. Make 12 single crochets. First we cast on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then one more lifting chain. And so into the half loops we make 12 stitches. So skip the first and start with the second. You can make them in one color, of course. I just decided to make something a little bit more interesting. So I will have to sew a lot of free ends, but anyway, I'll have a lot of them. So 1 or 2 more, doesn't matter. So make 12 stitches in each row. If you want to work it on your own, you just continue working 3 rows in different colors or in one color, which have 12 stitches in each. And then you leave a free end at the beginning. The free end of the color, which is going to be your base color. For the side, for the color of the side which you make it for. If you have side in sage, then the free end will be in sage as well. And so we do it like this. At the end, pay attention, we start the mint color, so we do not finish the last stitch, we finish it with mint color. And make lifting chain with mint color already. Cut the free end in sage color, turn the work, and then make 12 stitches with mint color. And then finish the last stitch with pink color. I'm going to use dark pink color, like this. Lifting chain, cut the mint. I do not melt the free ends because I don't think they will have time to fray. I think not. And the last row will be in pink color. Single crochets in pink. So that's it. Then we have to hide all the free ends except this one, except the long one. So we hide all these free ends. Here where we have the braids is the right side, and we will sew everything inside like this. And when we have sewn it, I'll show you how we sew them together according to the accessories you have, either half rings or rings. So we have our loops ready, and now we will work the following way, depending whether you have half loops or rings. If you have half rings, you have to first insert this loop into the half ring and then sew it, yeah, because you won't be able to open the half ring. So you have to insert it first and then sew it. It's also okay. And the side where free end is, you insert it here at the same level of the second or third row, maybe slightly below, and we'll be sewing it. This time I want to try out the clasps, so I will not do this, although I can do it as well, but I know that these clasps I'll be able to open and close, so it's easier. And so like this, I'll be sewing it. Here be careful because it's a little bit difficult for me to show it on camera, but I think you'll be able to understand what I mean. So you'll have to find the center. It's 2 stitches on one side, 2 stitches on the other side. Here you have, well, I'm going to insert it at the level of the third row. So find some loop at that level. Pierce it through. Here everything is the same. So from the inside you can sew it easier. And then you pull the working thread. Then you find the next one, next half loop, this mint one. It's not so horizontal, but you can pierce it as well. And then do the same, you pierce the base and you pierce this loop on this side. Grab the working thread and pull it through. Pull it through and make a slip stitch. And then again, find. Here we just take in the very last stitch. It will look neat. And then here we also have, here you can either choose this one, or I also have a pink one here. Pink one, yeah, perhaps I'll insert it into the pink one, like this, and make a stitch. Yeah, by the way, so we insert this back here on the side, grab it, and then work it inside like this. Yeah, by the way, here I see that I have skipped something, so I'll correct it at once. So that's it. This loop is ready. We have to hide and sew in this free end like this. Hide it and sew it. And so you have first loop ready. So loops are ready. You have sewn the second one just likewise. And then we can try the handle on. Give it a try. Have a look how it's going to look with the handle. Here, pay attention that I have matte gold and ordinary gold. I decided to give it a try, but I'd rather take the same color, of course. If I had such half rings in the same color, I would of course take it all in same color to match. You see that the bag already looks almost like a ready made, so we'll just have to insert magnetic button and then to insert the lining. You can sew magnetic button on the lining or here exactly to the base. I prefer to sew it to the base and then to make the lining so that it will not stand in its way. So I'll sew a magnetic button. I'll now explain how I do this. So let's start here perhaps. Here I have the center. That's pink and sage. So I place this magnetic button in the center. Here, one part of it. The pink one I sew with a pink color. So I'll show you and then you'll be able to do it on your own. So you sew each corner like you are sewing on a button. Just make sure it's in the center, sew, and you can make a knot or you can make a loop to fix it. And then like this. You can pierce it through all the knitted base or you can just pierce it a little bit without piercing it through. And the main thing here is to return the needle exactly into the place where you have entered it, so that the stitches aren't visible. Like this. In each opening, we sew it just like a button. I'm not going to show in every detail, I think you understand. So I'll change the color according to the color which is beneath it. I mean the color of thread which I use for sewing, either pink or green. Then after you have sewn one, you will sew the other one. Make sure that pieces are matching, of course. All right, and that's it. So I think you'll be able to sew it on your own because it's really easy, and we can move on to sewing the lining. Here you can continue without cutting the thread, by the way. Just pierce it through, hide it behind, and then go to the next place where you will have to sew it like this. For the other opening, for the other corner. And then continue sewing all the other corners. And on the green color, I'll be sewing it with a green color. And sew it with appropriate colors and repeat the same on the other side. and then we'll meet when we'll be sewing the lining. And it will be the last stage. The magnetic button is sewn in. I have decided to change the color of cord a little bit more neutral. And so now we can start making the lining. Now I'll tell you which measurements we need to take, how we're going to do this. So I'm going to sew the lining 1 centimeter below the magnetic button, somehow like this. So I'll show you the easiest way. I'm not a seamstress, so I just know some basics, and I can make a basic lining, and so I can teach you to do the same. And now we will need to take our measurements here on top, where we're going to sew it, and then below here, because we have different measurements, as you may notice, and then lining will be a little bit like trapeze shape. And so first I'll show you how this is going to be. So here approximately like such two, and then here straight. Yeah, so we'll get such 2 pieces. This part's going to be measured when we measure the circumference above, then here is circumference below, and the height. I will also show you how we measure. Here, this is going to be the width of the bottom divided by 2. So now let's start step by step. We start with this measurement. You have to find the level at which you want to sew your lining into the back. And I'll also mark it. It's difficult, but try to follow one line. Here you have to go along one line of stitches. Here, for example, I found this line, and so you have to follow it all along the circumference. Press it hard. Do not stretch the bag. Here, carefully measure it in the corners as well. And then go on likewise. Approximately following the same line. Of course, it can be 1 or 2 millimeters lower or higher. It's okay. And so I get 84 centimeters. So the circumference, the first circumference, is 84 centimeters. We have to divide it by 2 to know the width. So it is 84 divided by 2, that is 42 centimeters, plus 3 centimeters, that is seam allowances here for our stitches, for our seams on the sides. So this is going to be 45. Then this measurement will be the same as the circumference of the lower edge. So if for example, it's easier for you to measure it like this. You can measure it inside. Here, for example, let's make it on the outside. We usually do not do this on the outside. We tend to do this on the inside, but I think that in this case, it would be better to measure it on the outside. Just press it hard to so I got 90 centimeters. And looks like it is okay. Now the second one will be 80 divided by 2, that's 45 centimeters. 45 plus 3 is 48, plus seam allowances, so 48 centimeters. So this is the half of the bottom slits. Let's measure. 12 to 13 centimeters. Okay, I'll take 13. 13. So it is a half. Will be 6.5. You can take it 7. So this part 6.5 or 7 centimeters. And when you will be making your lining, you will have 48, and then you just draw a trapeze. So here you will have the same, and then you can make it wider towards. It will be just a little bit, as you see, only 3 centimeters are a difference. So now let's measure the height. The height is measured also. We'll measure the height and then divide it. So starting from here, from the place where you are going to sew the lining, I prefer to measure it in the center. You then go down, following the straight line. It's easy to see the straight line because you see these stripes here. And till this point, we are going to sew your lining 51 centimeter. So 25.5 centimeters plus 3, that will be 28 centimeters. So the height is 28.5 centimeters. So that's it. Now we need to cut this piece of fabric made of such 2 pieces, on top 45, below 48 centimeters. Then at the level of 6.5 centimeters or 7, also make it 48, and then you can narrow it to make a trapeze. And so cut a piece of fabric according to these measurements, and then I'll show you step by step how we sew the lining and then sew it into the bag. So I have both pieces cut, so I get such a trapeze. I recommend you to iron your fabric before you sew it. Here I have cotton fabric. It's quite thick, so I think it will keep the shape okay. So you will need some sewing pins. And now the edge that's narrower, we fold to the wrong side, like this, 1.5 centimeter, which is our seam allowance. We were having 3 centimeters. I meant 1.5 on one side and 1.5 on the other side, of course. So now we will make this first seam on the side, first pin it in place, and so like this, we have to do it on both sides, first and the second. And Here we will make the first seams. You can sew it with a sewing machine if you have one, or by hand. So make these 2 seams, and then we'll meet when we have already made those 2. So I have made those 2 seams. And now if you have a tag, you can attach it to one of the sides, somewhere in the center. So here make seams where you have inserted the pins. And now I have made the seams. That's how it looks now. So here we have to turn it one right side facing the other right side. And now we will have a look at what is going to be the next. So we need to sew it on the sides. 1.5 centimeters going to be our seam allowance again, as always. Pin it in place. 2 pieces. Like this. Do this on both sides. Then make these 2 seams. Next is going to be seam on the bottom, and when you have sewn it all, then we will need to make the corners. I'll show you how to shape the corners. So now sew this and this, and then we will sew the bottom, also 1.5 centimeter. We have seam allowance everywhere, and make seams. And then I'll show you how to shape the corners. So when all the seams are ready, now we have only to shape the bottom. And we're going to do this the following way. We fold the corner, unfold, or kind of place it on some surface. It's easier to do this when you see the seam in the middle. And so you need to make a triangle with same sides, an even side not triangle, like this. And then you need to measure the length of the bottom. I will measure 12 centimeters. And what is important, from the seam to the edge we have 6 centimeters, so that the triangle has same sides. So like this. You can mark it with a pen, or you can mark it with a crayon, whatever you have. And likewise. And now you make this seam, and that's it. Corners for the bottom will be ready. Like this. So make these seams, and then we'll have just to sew the lining into the back. Now the corners are ready, like this. looks from the inside. So now we can take our base of the bag. I always start working from this place where the tag is. So spread the fabric so that you make sure that it will fit the bag. It will be all right for the inner part of the bag. You can first pin it in place to make sure that the size will be exactly okay. So as you see, my lining is rather thick, so for me it's not difficult. I can place it like this, and I already see that it will be okay. If you have a thinner fabric, you can pin it in place with sewing pins to make sure. I'll take mint thread, which I used for the lining. And then I'll start with fixing it approximately at the same level where I was going to sew the lining. Like this. Here at this level, the edge of the lining is going to be, so I'll make a zoom in so that you can see it better. What you need to do is to put this edge of the fabric, pierce it horizontally like this, like this. Then you make a stitch into the base, and then again you hide the thread in the middle so you can't see the thread at all. Then you pierce the base of the bag, and then again you pierce it right into the top of the lining, and then again into the base. You return the needle here exactly into the place where you have punctured it. That's why you can't see the stitch. It remains inside. And then here you make a little step to the left, further to the left, so that you sew it. Then again pierce it and repeat. Here likewise follow a straight line. Then you return. And so like this. Go on working along all the perimeter, sewing this lining into the bag. And actually go on working like this and follow the same straight line. Like this, go on working till the end. I'll show you how we finish. But now you can go on sewing on your own. It's my favorite method. If you are with me for a long time, then you have already seen it. So go on working like this, and then our bag is going to be ready. And now we are almost at the end of this masterclass. That's it. Go on working like this. And last stitch to fix. I don't make any knots. I just make several stitches back and forth so that the thread will remain inside. So that's it. Several times, several stitches, and you can just cut it. So like this, you see the lining is sewn absolutely seamlessly into the bag. When your fabric is rather thick, then it will keep the shape perfectly. So that's my second bag, and that's the end of masterclass. So I thank you very much for working together with me. I wish you much joy while working, and I'm really pleased and waiting for see your works and see your color combinations. I hope that it was helpful and you will enjoy your work. That was Oksana Rudko and my brand of knitted bags and accessory. See you. Bye.